From FS Securities, we are an education and information firm on the Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia. And every Monday morning, I go through what happened globally and try to forecast what happened, what we may see today on our market and also tonight on the global market. And by the way, if you have any feedback, we would really appreciate to hear from you. We start by going through what happened overnight, and you can see here the Dow was up 1.7%, 461 points, after going up 829 points on Saturday morning. You can see the market in America is really zoom up, and at 27,572 we're very close to wiping out all the losses that we've seen so far this year. And the S&P 500 was up 1.2%, the Nasdaq up 1.1%, and as you can see here, on Friday they've had very good results. In Europe, overnight, we were down 0.5%, 18 points in the Stoxx 50, which comprises most major European markets. In London, the FTSE was down 0.2%. In Germany, it was down 0.2% as well. In Japan, the Nikkei was up 1.4, plus two high rises the previous 2 days. Shanghai Index also up yesterday, 4,000 points. And on our market yesterday, we were closed because of the Queen's birthday. But on Friday, the market went up by 6.6, let's call that 7 points, or 0.1%. And the futures so far this morning is showing that we most likely go up by 41 points at the start of trading. Gold was up $22, recovering from the $44 loss on Saturday morning. Aluminium was up and copper was up. And by the way, on Friday, 34% of our stocks advanced and 29% declined, with very good volume, nearly 4 billion transactions. And the day before we had 3.7, 3.4 before. So we've had very good volume on the market. And by the way, the best performing stock was CIMIC, 6.8%. After pay, 5.5%. And by the way, the Australian dollar was trading at 70.17, as you can see here, 62.1 euro cents and 55.1 British pence and 108 New Zealand. And for those people who follow Bitcoin, Bitcoin this morning was trading at 9,710 US, up $125 US, and that converts to approximately 13,825 Australian dollars, up 75 Australian dollars. If you look at the chart, this is the Dow, and you can see here zooming up and away. This is actually the weekly chart. You can see most of the green candles were up and up quite considerably, and only 2 or 3 small red candles showing the down. Just to explain, from the high to the bottom, we managed to retrace back 50%, which is the Gann 50% retracement. Then we tested the 61.8 Fibonacci retracement. It had no hesitation to go very well through it, and now we are well above it, and we're likely to hit the all-time high between now and the election day, which is in November, the 3rd of November. So we've got July, August, September, October, 4 months to see this happening. We might see it going back and up, and on the daily chart we can see the stochastic is bullish. We had reasonable volume the last couple of days, and then the 9-day moving average above the 21, that's bullish. The stochastic is bullish, parabolic stop and reverse is bullish, and you can see here excuse me, the 50-day moving average converging towards the 100, which determines a very bullish long-term trend. On our market, that's the ASX 200. You can see we've got also a lot of green weekly candles showing the market is really zooming up. We retraced the 38.2 retracement, the Fibonacci, tested the 50. We couldn't do it last week, the week before, and then at the end of last week we managed to exceed it. Even we didn't close at the very high point, but nevertheless we are up and away, and we might go above the 61.8 Fibonacci retracement this week. And you can see here on the daily charts the stochastic bullish, the parabolic stop and reverse bullish, the non-day is above the 21 bullish, the 50-day moving average converging towards the 100, almost the same situation as the Dow. So we look like we might perhaps get very close to somewhere in this area here. That's the weekly. Remember, the very highest point we've seen so far the last few months was, I think, 7,230 something, and we might see at least 6,500 in the next few weeks. We are bullish, and we look like the virus issue is now put aside, and the economy is going back to where it's supposed to be. Now, in terms of volume, you can see here the last 5 days the volume was actually above the 3 billion, but we've exceeded the average, and you can see the momentum is upward. And here we see the advances over declines. On Friday, 34% of all stocks advanced and 28% declined. And on week by week, you can see here the last 3 weeks the advances exceeding the declines quite a lot. Now, on our mechanical system where we try to forecast the future, you can see here that's the daily. Well, that's what we've seen this morning. We don't argue with a moving train at 100 miles an hour. It is very strong bullish for the American market. Oil is bullish, and also, by the way, gold. We were actually slightly bearish for the very aggressive trader, but bullish for the investor. And then we turned neutral on Thursday morning, or as I should say Friday morning. And this morning we can see that gold is bearish for the very aggressive trader. And by the way, the difference between investor and very aggressive trader is we look at 2 time frames on the charts, and we have to have agreement between the monthly and the weekly, and we look for 5 indicators out of 8. 5 have to say either bullish, bearish or neutral, and it has to be confirmed by the slower chart. And for the very aggressive trader, or so let's say the conservative trader, we look for the weekly and the daily, and the same thing again. The Australian dollar, strong. We were strong for a lot of weeks, and that has actually, by the way, the Australian dollar for the first time turned very close to 70. I think it exceeded overnight and back, retracing back. As you can see here, we close at 70.2. You can see here. Right up. Okay, now in terms of our market, we can see here today, this morning, we can see based on last week indicators, Newcrest bearish on Friday, and gold slightly up this morning, but anyway, we're bearish. Everything else, as you can see here, is bullish. The strong bullish is BHP, Rio, Transurban and Wesfarmers, and neutral for most people except TPM, which is TPG. All right, now on Friday, the most active companies, Bank of Queensland was nearly 9% on Friday, Sydney Airport 6.2%, Suncorp 4%, Vicinity Centres and Boral and so on. And this will actually be on our website in a very short time. Now we also scanned the market as far as we see which stock had excessive volume. We look for the 50-day average, moving average volume. So for instance, this company Vicinity Centres, on an average, moving average over 50 days, the volume is on an average 28 million shares. Well, on Friday it had nearly 70, so, and the price went up by nearly 4%. Sydney Airport, the price was up 6.2% and the volume was 54% higher than the average. So again, we look for these companies and we then go into research and we see more fundamental reasons why this company has gone up, and of course then we trade them, and this will actually be on our website very shortly. Okay, announcement today, we at 11:30 our time, NAB business confidence, who knows what's going to see here, and ANZ job advertisement, I expect that to be low. In the US, small business index tonight, we'll see what happens. Okay, on last week, anything interesting here, the Australian service index 31.6, that was better than the previous period. And the non-farm employment, you probably heard, most economists expected 8 million new unemployed people. Well, guess what? They ended up with 2.5. Unemployment rate was supposed to be 19%, well, it ended up 13.3. And Mr. Trump was excited and said, look at me, look at me, look at me, look what I've done for you guys, vote for me in November. Crap, crap, crap. Our disclaimer, everything we said here today is for general advice only. Before you take any action, remember, everything has got risk, and you need to understand your risk appetite before you trade. Finally, if you want to talk to us and discuss anything we said, or you can talk to your professional advisor, but if you want to talk to us, here are our details. My email is george@fs stands for full service, george@fssecurities, plural, fssecurities.com.au. You can ring me on my mobile. If you're ringing from overseas, it's 61, you don't need a 0, 61, that's the country code, 411-259526. If you ring from a local location, Australia location, it's 0411-259526. And this is what I'm telling you. Have a good week, have a good trading, and enjoy trading.